Well, first I'd just like to thank you for using my service. It's great that I can offer the service, but it's also really helpful to me with all the travels and such that I make, so thank you very much. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video in regular time, and then we're going to go back and watch it in slow motion so I can, point things out more clearly. One thing I noticed from watching his runs is that he tends to shake after you take his harness off. So it probably doesn't normally cause you a problem, but on this run, we'll watch it again, but you took his harness off, and then you kind of took off, and then he shook, and then you were kind of far ahead of him. So take it off, let him shake, and then, get moving. You sometimes run the outside of jumps, which is fine. It's a good option for him. If you can be far enough ahead that when you push him, if you have to push his line, that you're not cutting into him. You also use blind crosses a lot, which is a great option for him. And I've seen you do fronts and rears as well. I would say that for now, the way that this dog is running, you should never do a rear cross with him. You should stick to fronts and blinds. Okay, let's watch this in slow motion. Here you start going, he has to shake, and now you're kind of far ahead. So not a huge deal, but it's the more you can stay connected with this dog, the better it's going to be for him. So maybe start a little bit farther back from the jump so it gives him time to get that shake out of the way. You do a nice blind cross here, your side change is done before he's at the bottom of the dog walk. That's perfect. You do a really good job of keeping your eye on where he's at and not getting super far ahead of him, because I don't think he'd probably like for you to be really far ahead. Again, blind cross, you have your side change done before he's even coming out of the tunnel. That's awesome. Here it looks like you got a little confused about where you're supposed to go, but you get him away from the A-frame and back. You push him here to the teeter. He reads it really nice. I don't have a problem with that. If he's moving faster, that push would have been late. You get him into the tunnel here with a little bit of a push. It's really nice. I don't have any problem with it. Now, when he comes out of the tunnel, can't see him exactly what he's doing, but I can tell from what you're doing that he must have come straight out of the tunnel this way, and you have to sort of call him back. So I probably would have opted for one of two different ways of handling this with him. The way the tunnel was set up, the dogs were going to sort of shoot out this way, and it was the faster and the longer stride of the dog, the more they had to sort of cut back to take this jump. So that was one thing to consider, how to set a good line, or how to get them over this, over this yellow jump, and then get them moving on again. I sort of think from looking at this video that when he came out going straight, and he's way over here, I can tell by your gaze that he's over here somewhere, it might have been better if you were on this side of the jump and sort of calling him over this jump, instead of you're already up here and now you're barely moving because you're sort of waiting for him to come. So I would have opted for, after you put him in the tunnel, just coming on this side of the jump, calling him over, and then pushing him to the panel, and then on your way. Or if you want to be on this side, that's fine, but I would have put a blind cross in between these two yellow non-wing jumps, or a front cross. And you'll see that here you had time to do a blind or a front. You push him to the A-frame, it's great, but then you have a bobble down to that second jump after the A-frame. And if you had put a cross in here between these two jumps, you would have been on the inside of this line, and you wouldn't have had that bobble down there. So You get him down. It looks like you try to do a rear cross on the second jump. It's hard to see. I can't even see the dog really. And it looks like you probably almost pushed him over and had to call him back. Now you're kind of going that way, and then you had to do a rear cross in the flat. And I can't see him, but I can see right there that he's trotting. So when you were back here at this jump trying to do the rear, you probably started to converge on him before he was committed to the jump, so he probably went to go around the jump and you called him back. But now look at your motion. You're kind of going this way, and my guess is that he's right there even with you. And now you're having to push into him right here, and he was probably like, whoa, I thought we were going this direction, and now you're like pushing and cutting into me, and then the result is a trot to the chute. So I know that that bobble wasn't planned. I mean, certainly you didn't plan for that. I'm sure it looked like you planned to do a rear there, but you could have easily done a front cross between these jumps, or you could have done a front cross at the bottom of the A-frame. So no rear crosses with this dog until he gains some more confidence and speeds up a little bit on it.